Welcome to this episode of the Pella Pro Spotlight, where we feature select builders and contractors from our region who count on Gunton Corporation as their Pella window and door partner. We hope you enjoyed this episode.
Hi, this is Rick Hangler with Pella Windows and Doors here with our next Spotlight feature, and that's with Lee Calisti from Lee Calisti Architecture and Design out here in Greensburg, Pennsylvania. So welcome, Lee. Look forward to learning about your business here today.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Lee. What made you want to become an architect? Why an architect?
This is a question that I've been asked a number of times. I've written about it in my blog. It comes up often, and I will start by saying I've always wanted to be an architect. The joke is it chose me rather than me choosing it. As far back as I can remember being a young kid, I wanted to be an architect. Large background in art, drawing, making things. The era that I grew up as kids, we would make things, and I was always fascinated with how things went together, seeing things go together, coupled with the artistic side, the sculpting. But at some point as a young kid, there was something about the balance between organizing something sculptural, but there being an order to it, a rationale to it, and the fact that you can inhabit it just became something very interesting to me as a kid. I don't know if I understood it at the time. So I had decided early on I was going to become an architect, and without knowing everything that was involved in it, it was just, this is what I'm going to do. I pursued it without question. I went to college for it. The process of becoming an architect is rigorous, takes a lot of discipline, takes a lot of schooling, but I was determined to do it. And I look back now, and I just find myself one of a few people that are blessed to do something as a vocation, as a career, as a profession that I've always wanted to do. And the fact that I can own my own company and I get to do this every day is a gift, and I take it very seriously. I feel very accountable to my clients. I feel very accountable to the built environment, but it is something that I've always wanted to do, and it's so simple to answer that I just wanted to do it, and I did it. And I think that's pretty rare today, and I find it very fortunate that it's so easy to make that decision.
Yeah, your passion shows, that's for sure. Lee, what is something that every client should do or know before they meet with you as an architect for the first time?
Nowadays, I would ask people to do their homework. It's the best use of their time. There's so much that one can learn about working with an architect, the value of working with an architect, what we do, generally how fees are structured, what they might expect in the process, merely by researching things on the internet. There are a whole host of things that are available out there. The American Institute of Architects has a really great resources for people considering hiring an architect. From there, when someone contacts me specifically and they want to know about our firm, I do ask them or invite them to avail themselves to the resources on our website. We have curated a series of links and brochures that can help people understand what it might be like to work with us. They can understand what to expect, how we operate. They can look at the work we do in our portfolio, see the kinds of things that we've done in the past, how we have solved problems. And then by the time we get to an interview and have a first meeting with that client, we feel they already know us a little bit more. And then the questions are more in depth. The conversation is richer, and we have a far better chance of understanding if they would like to work with us and if we would like to work with them. So do your homework.
Okay. Lee, how do you select the brands that you use on your projects?
Oddly, we have a loyalty to products that we have used for years. Once we have found a product and a relationship, we tend to specify them over and over again because the relationship works, the product works. Being introduced to new products, there's a series of things we have to go through because if we don't know anything about the product, there's something we have to do to mitigate the risk of suggesting this to our clients. We keep up on trends, we research architectural journals, we go to trade shows, we try to see the products firsthand, but from there, we really need to reach out to representatives that represent that company, talk to them, and not only is the information that they give us important, but the relationship and how they pass that information, how timely they are in giving us responses, do they follow up, and that helps us evaluate whether or not we think this product is suitable for the project. Can they anticipate the kinds of things that might be on our minds or on our clients' minds? Because once we make that decision to go with that product, it's permanent, and we want to make sure that we've done our homework so that we can stand behind the decisions we made.
That's great. Lee, what are the limitations of the projects that you would consider doing?
Nowadays, I would say it has to do with either scale or schedule, first of all. Rarely has someone contacted us with a project that's too large for us, but oftentimes we are contacted with projects that might be just a little too small for us to take on at the time.
For example, what would be too small?
Well, we would prefer, if we're doing a residential project, we would prefer to do a large renovation or a new house. Sometimes just doing a small renovation to a part of the house or a porch or a small addition might not be something we can work into our project schedule, but we would entertain the thought of a new house, a large addition, a large renovation. The same would go for commercial projects, large renovations, new construction, something along that line. We are fortunate to have a busy schedule, so we would have to ask the potential client what is their schedule, what is their intended goal to get into the project, and we would have to weigh that heavily, because we wouldn't want to take on a project that we couldn't give it the utmost attention and give them the absolute best service that we can offer. From there, we would also think that projects ought to align with our firm's mission, goals, the kinds of visual qualities that we tend to focus on, so that, as described earlier, if people can vet through that and see whether or not their project is a good fit for us by the schedule, the size, as well as the client connection as well.
Okay. How does working with Pella Windows and Doors help you achieve your clients' objectives?
If I think back at this office and the two offices I've worked for previously, I have been working with Pella products for almost 30 years. And so it was introduced to me very early as being a firm of quality, a window of high quality. But once I got into making the decisions on my own, I found that real reasons for why that quality is there. Let me give an example. Recently, we have a project under construction where the client's goal was to replace windows in this house. And we, in concert with the general contractor, introduced and invited Pella to come to look at whether or not the client would entertain using their product on their home, as it needed to fit in with all the other constraints and parameters going on at the time. Well, not only did they give us the information, but they sent two of their representatives out to the job site as I requested, and they brought full-size samples of the window to the job site. And from there, the client could open the window, operate the window, look at the construction of how the window goes together. They could ask the representatives directly their questions, the things that a homeowner might ask rather than an architect might ask.
Like care, warranty, those kind of things. Yeah.
Absolutely. One of the things we did was, how do I clean the window? So they demonstrated us how they would clean it. They got to ask the hard questions that a homeowner might ask. Is this durable? Is this going to last? What if something breaks? They were particularly interested in the workings of how the windows are built, how clean the connections and the joints are, how the window is finished, and the new feature with the screen, the hiding screen, amazing new feature. That was a big sell to them, because we happen to be using double hung windows in this particular project.
Right.
But I think what really sold them was the personal connection, the way that we received cost data very quickly. We were able to get answers to our technical questions. Pella allowed us to use a custom color for the exterior. They were to provide that. They were to provide that with not a problem. We went through a process of a color match. So all the things that this particular client wanted, Pella gave us. And they did it in a timely way, And since then, the windows have been installed. They look beautiful. The client is happy, and they met the objectives we wanted to meet. The window itself sells itself, but for me, the difference was the relationship between the Pella reps, not only the reps that came out to the job site, but you and all the other representatives and agents that were involved in the process really gave us good service, really gave us answers, and we felt we got the absolute best value for this particular project.
And Lee, we love projects like that because that kind of project, custom exterior cladding, unique features, that's what makes us shine and helps. So hopefully you feel the same with your clients. So
we did, and this is just one example of many of how the product and the service and the people involved make it a worthwhile product, and we love to use the product, and we'll continue to use the product.
Great recent example. Thank you, Lee. I want to thank you for watching this episode of the Pella Spotlight featuring Lee Calisti from Lee Calisti Architecture and Design. And Lee, thank you for sharing about your business. And we certainly are grateful for the relationship we have with you. It's mutual, and very much look forward to a bright future together. And thank you for the opportunity to tell the world about your firm. So thank you, Lee.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching this episode. Return frequently to see other featured Pella professionals talk about their businesses. We encourage you to share the link to this interview with others. If you're interested in having a sales representative contact you about partnering with Gunton Corporation, please call us 412-489-0494.